My phone lit up with my father's name, and I almost let it ring out. 10 months, and now he remembered I existed. "Don't hang up," he said the second I answered. "Not hello. Not my name." I leaned against the kitchen counter, staring at the bare walls of my new place. "What do you want?" "Your brother's wedding is next weekend. You need to be there. We have to look perfect."
Perfect.
The word sat wrong, like it always did. I let out a quiet breath. "I'm not coming." Silence stretched, sharp and immediate. Then his voice hardened. "If you don't show up, don't expect to see a single dollar from this family again. You'll be out. Completely." I almost smiled. 10 months ago, they hadn't noticed when I packed my things. Not when I closed my door for the last time. Not when I stopped answering. "My name is Alara Quinn," I said quietly, more to myself than him. 28, and apparently still an accessory. "Think carefully," he added. "This is your last chance." I looked around my empty apartment, at everything I'd built without them. Then I said the one thing I'd been waiting 10 months to say. "I already removed myself from everything you think you can take." He didn't respond right away. For once, my father had nothing prepared. "What does that mean?" he asked, slower now, like he was stepping onto unfamiliar ground. I pushed the window open, letting cold air cut through the silence. "It means exactly what it sounds like. You don't get to play games with me, Alara," he snapped, the controls slipping. "Everything you have came from this family, that used to work on me. The reminders, the ownership, the quiet pressure to stay small. But 10 months had a way of clearing things." "I didn't take anything with me," I said. "You should have noticed that." Another pause. Longer this time, because he was thinking, running through numbers, accounts, documents he never bothered to check himself. "You're bluffing," he said finally, but it didn't land the same. I rested my forehead against the cool glass. "Then don't call me again." "Wait," he said quickly. Too quickly. "Your brother expects you there."
Of course he did.
Not because he missed me, because empty seats raise questions. "I won't ruin your perfect picture," I replied. "You already are," he said, and I heard something new in his voice. Not anger.
Concern.
That was when I knew he'd finally started looking. I didn't answer him again. I let the silence sit there, heavy, unfinished, before ending the call. Then I waited, because I knew what would happen next. Not emotion. Not apology. Investigation. My father didn't care why I left. He cared about what leaving might cost him. By morning, my phone buzzed again. Not him this time. My brother. I stared at his name for a second longer than I expected. Then I answered. "Hey," he said, too casual. "Dad said you've been distant."
Distant.
Like I'd just skipped a few dinners. "I moved," I said. "I know. But you didn't tell anyone where." That felt appropriate. A small exhale came through the line. "Look, I don't want this to get weird. It's my wedding." There it was. Not "I miss you." Not "Are you okay?" Just the event. "I won't be there," I said. Silence. Then quieter. "You're really doing this?" I closed my eyes. "Do you even know why I left?" He didn't answer. Because he didn't ask back then either. Instead, he said, "Dad's checking the accounts today." I smiled, slow and steady. "Then he's already too late," I said, and ended the call. By the time my father called again, his voice had changed. No force. No authority. Just something tight, controlled. "What did you do?" he asked. I didn't answer immediately. I let him sit in it. "You finally checked," I said. "The trust is locked. The accounts tied to your name are gone. The access is restricted. I can't even authorize a review without your approval." That word again. Approval. It sounded unfamiliar in his mouth. "You never asked where the money came from," I said quietly. "We built this family's assets," he snapped, reflex kicking in. "Don't twist this." "No," I corrected. "Grandmother did." Silence. Real silence this time. Because now we were saying the part no one liked to say out loud. "You were listed as executor," I continued, steady. "Not owner." "That's not how it works." "That's exactly how it works." I could hear papers shifting, like he was holding something he didn't fully understand. I had a contingency written in, I added. Years ago.
For what? He demanded.
I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. For the day I stopped being treated like family. His breath caught just barely. You wouldn't. I already did. Another pause. Then, softer than I'd ever heard him, come to the wedding. I smiled. Now you need me. I didn't answer him. Not right away. I let him sit in that sentence, in the quiet shift he couldn't undo. You've made your point, he said, trying to recover ground. This doesn't have to go further. Further. Like I hadn't already gone somewhere he couldn't follow. I'm not making a point, I said. I made a decision. You're punishing your own family. The word family sounded rehearsed, like something he reached for when nothing else worked. I walked to the small table by the window, where my laptop sat open. Numbers, documents, confirmations. Every step I took before leaving. You didn't notice I was gone, I said. For 10 months. That's not fair, he snapped. It's accurate. Silence again. Not empty this time. Tense. Calculating. What do you want? He asked finally. There it was. The question he should have asked years ago. I closed the laptop slowly. I want nothing from you. That's not how this works. It is now. His breath came sharp through the line. If you don't fix this, you'll regret it. I almost laughed. Fix what? I asked quietly. Then I let the truth land, clean and final. You're the one who just realized you have nothing without me. He hung up on me that time. Not in control. Not clean. Just ended. I stood there a second, phone still in my hand, feeling something settle inside me. Not anger.
Clarity.
Because for the first time, he reacted without a plan. That meant pressure. By evening, my phone lit up again. Unknown number. I answered. Miss Quinn. A calm male voice said. This is Daniel Reeves. Your father's legal counsel. Of course it was. I assumed I'd be hearing from you, I said. I'd like to resolve this privately, he continued. There seem to be misunderstandings regarding the estate structure. There aren't, I replied. A pause. Measured. Professional. You executed a transfer into a restricted trust vehicle, he said carefully. One that requires your sole authorization. Yes. And you understand the implications? I designed them. Silence again, but different this time. Respect. Or caution. Your father is requesting a temporary reversal, he said. I leaned back against the wall, letting the words echo. Requesting. Not demanding. Denied, I said. A breath on the other end. Then may I ask, he said, quieter now, what outcome you're seeking? I looked out the window into the dark. They invited me for a performance, I said. And I'm deciding if I want to attend. I didn't give them an answer. Not that night. Not the next. I let the uncertainty stretch, because for once, they were the ones waiting. 3 days before the wedding, my brother called again. No small talk this time. Are you coming? He asked. Straight to it. I sat at my table, tracing a faint scratch in the wood. Why does it matter? A pause. Then quieter, because people are asking. Of course they were. Families like ours didn't have missing pieces. Not publicly. You could just say I'm busy, I said. That doesn't work anymore, he replied. Dad's already nervous. If you don't show, it looks intentional. Intentional. Like everything they'd done wasn't. I won't make a scene, I said calmly. That's not what I'm worried about. That caught me. I sat up slightly. Then what are you worried about? Another silence. Long enough to feel real. Finally, he exhaled. I'm worried about what you'll do if you show up. I smiled, slow and quiet. Because for the first time, he wasn't dismissing me. He was calculating me. I guess you'll have to find out, I said. Then I hung up and started getting ready. I walked into the venue early. No announcement. No entrance. Just a quiet step back into a life that had kept moving without me. White flowers. Soft music. Everything arranged to look effortless.
Perfect.
My father spotted me first. Relief hit his face so fast it almost looked like affection. Ilara, he said, walking over quickly. You came. I said I might, I replied. His eyes searched mine, like he was trying to find the version of me he understood.
He didn't.
Let's talk privately, he said. No, I answered calmly. Let's do this here. That was new. Guests shifted. Conversation slowed. My brother stepped closer, tension written all over him. Ilara, he warned. I reached into my bag and pulled out a thin folder. Not thick. Not dramatic. Just enough. I don't want anything from you, I said, my voice steady. But I won't be invisible anymore. I handed the folder to my father. Legal copies. Ownership records. The truth, clean and undeniable. He opened it, and everything on his face collapsed. Not anger, not control, just realization. The kind that comes too late. I stepped back, looking at all of them one last time. You needed me to look perfect, I said quietly. Then I turned away. And I finally decided to look real.